What the hell happened to this place? Landon Lively stood in the back of his parked car, staring at the restaurant's side door through the windshield. He hadn't stepped foot in this location in over 2 years. It was store number 5 out of the 8 he'd built from scratch over the last decade. What had started as a small burger joint in a rundown part of town had grown into a successful fast casual chain with over 200 employees. But lately, something wasn't right. Complaints had started to come in slow service, staff turnover, and a 1-star review that read, "Food's fine, but the workers look like they're dying." Landon didn't trust filtered reports anymore. His district manager, a guy named Aaron who'd been with him since store 3, kept saying everything was under control. But Landon had built this business with his own 2 hands. He wasn't about to let it rot from the inside. He'd decided to go in undercover. A fake name, fake resume, fresh haircut, and a pair of thick rim glasses made him look like a different guy. Nobody at Store 5 had ever met him in person. That was the thing about scaling up. He used to know every name behind the counter. Now half of them wouldn't know him if he walked right up and ordered fries. He pushed the door open, stepped inside. The air was thick with heat. Grease sizzled on the grills, and the smell of overworked fryers clung to the walls. Behind the counter, 2 young women were moving fast, bags piling up on the pickup line. "Name?" said the shift lead without looking up. Logan. Logan Miller," Landon answered. "Training shift." He nodded. "Aprons in the back. You're on prep and dish today. No greeting, no intro, no manager, just barked orders." Landon grabbed the apron and slipped it on. He was used to kitchen work. He'd done it for years before he ever made $1 from it. But this place felt different, tense. Everyone moved like they were trying to outrun something. By noon, he'd chopped lettuce, restocked condiments, and scrubbed 2 trays of pans. No one had said more than a sentence to him. The kitchen was short-staffed, only 4 people for a lunch rush that should have had 7. He leaned toward a guy on the grill. "Hey, where's the manager?" The grill guy, early 20s. Eyes sunken like he hadn't slept, didn't even look at him. "Tasha? She's in the office. Hasn't come out once." Landon wiped sweat off his forehead and glanced at the clock. Still another 3 hours of lunch rush. That's when he noticed her. A young woman, maybe 19, moving between fryers and the drink station. She was fast, efficient, but clearly overheated. Her name tag said Nina. She asked the guy on the grill something quietly. He shook his head and looked away. She turned and walked toward the back hallway where the manager's office was. A minute later, she came back, face pale, lips pressed together. "Everything okay?" Landon asked. She gave a tight nod. "Yeah, just tired." He watched her get back to work, refilling sauces, sweeping up, wiping counters. Landon could feel the heat pressing down on all of them. The AC barely worked in the kitchen, and the fans were off. He turned to the grill guy again. "Is it always like this?" The guy shrugged. "Worse on weekends. We're down 2 people. One quit last week. The other got fired." "Why?" "No breaks. No water unless you're off the clock," the guy muttered, flipping a patty. "Management says it's policy, so people leave." Landon's stomach twisted. He looked over at Nina again. She was moving slower now, hand on her side. He stepped toward her, but before he could say anything, she stumbled, then collapsed. The fryer baskets rattled as she hit the floor. A drink spilled, ice scattering across the tile. Landon dropped the dish he was holding and rushed over. "Hey, Nina?" "Nina." She was breathing, but out cold. Her skin was too warm. A bead of sweat rolled down her temple. "Why isn't anyone doing anything?" he yelled. The grill guy froze. One of the girls at the counter rushed over with a towel. Someone else called 911. The manager, Tasha, finally came out of the office, holding her phone like it was more important than the girl on the ground. What's going on? She snapped. She passed out. Landon shouted. She needs water, and probably hasn't had any in hours. Tasha rolled her eyes. She knows the rules. If she wanted a break, she should have clocked out. Landon stood up slowly. You're telling me someone asked for water, and you told them no unless they clocked out? Yeah, that's how we do it here. The room went quiet. Landon's voice dropped. Not anymore, you don't. Tasha blinked. Excuse me? He pulled off the glasses, took off the hat. Someone at the counter gasped. I'm Landon Lively, he said. I own this place. All of it. Tasha's face turned white. He looked around at the employees, eyes landing on Nina, still unconscious but now being helped by paramedics who had just arrived. I came here to see what was going on. And now I know exactly what's wrong. The store was quiet except for the low hum of the soda machine and the occasional beep from the fryer timers. The lunch rush had ended, but the tension hadn't gone anywhere. Landon stood near the prep station, apron still on, watching as the paramedics lifted Nina onto a stretcher. Her eyelids fluttered, and one of them reassured her they were taking her to get checked out. No one said a word. He waited until they were gone before turning toward the rest of the staff. They were all watching him, unsure whether to keep working or stand still. You, he said, pointing to one of the counter workers, a tall girl with a ponytail. What's your name? Casey. How many hours have you worked this week? She hesitated. This is my 5th day in a row. I think I'm at around 42. Breaks. She looked at Tasha, then back at him. Only when it's slow. Otherwise, we're told not to ask. Landon turned to another crew member, a short guy with flour on his shirt. I'm part-time, but I stay late most shifts. They ask me to. If I say no, they cut my next schedule. Tasha crossed her arms. They're exaggerating. We follow legal requirements. Landon walked over slowly. You told a 19-year-old girl she couldn't drink water unless she clocked out. In a 100-degree kitchen. She wasn't even scheduled to close. She could have waited. He didn't raise his voice. She collapsed on your floor. She's dramatic. She's done it before. He stared at her. She's passed out before? Tasha shrugged. A couple of times. It's not like she has a condition or anything. Landon stepped past her, opened the office door without asking, and walked inside. The office was small, cluttered, and smelled like stale coffee. A folding chair sat in front of a desk piled with paperwork. A portable fan hummed quietly beside a mini fridge. He opened the fridge. 3 bottles of water. 1 half-empty soda. A chilled sandwich. He came back out holding one of the bottles. You're sitting in a cooled office with cold drinks, while the rest of your team works in a kitchen that feels like a furnace. She looked away. I started this company in a 10 by 10 trailer with a hot plate and a cooler full of meat, he said. You think I don't know what it's like to grind? But I never let my staff suffer so I could sit in a back room. Tasha's voice was flat. I've been in management for 7 years. I know how to run this place. Landon nodded once, then turned to the entire staff. You all heard that. Who here thinks she's running this place well? No one raised a hand. He looked at Tasha. Clean out your things. You're done here. Effective immediately. She flinched. You're serious? I don't bluff. She opened her mouth like she wanted to argue, then slammed the office door shut behind her. Landon took a breath and looked around. All right, let's get back to work. We'll finish the shift together. After that, we're going to talk about some serious changes. The remaining crew looked stunned, but there was a flicker of relief too. He grabbed a clean rag and got back on the prep line. The others returned to their stations. For the next couple of hours, Landon worked beside them. He sliced tomatoes, toasted buns, wiped down trays, and helped restock the walk-in fridge. No one treated him like a boss now. He was just another guy in an apron. It wasn't until the dinner pre-rush lull that someone finally spoke up. "You really own the whole company?" the grill guy asked, tossing down a fresh patty. "Built it myself," Landon said, adjusting a food tray. "Started with one store. This was number 5. The guy nodded. "Name's Joel. I've only been here 3 months. Almost walked out twice." "Why didn't you?" "My kid. I need the paycheck." Landon looked at him. "How many hours they give you?" 30. Said full-time's not in the budget. "You want full-time?" Joel nodded. "We'll talk after the shift." Casey came over then, holding a stack of order slips. "We're out of medium lids." Again. "Where's the supply log?" Landon asked. "In the office." Tasha kept it locked. He grabbed a ring of keys from the hook and opened the door. The storage cabinet inside was a mess. Boxes shoved in sideways, half-open shipments, no labeling system. He pulled out a clipboard with the supply log. The last entry had been made over 3 weeks ago. He came back out and handed the clipboard to Casey. "I want you to take over supply tracking." "You're organized, right?" She blinked. "Yeah, but you mean like permanently? You want more responsibility?" She nodded slowly. "Then it's yours. Starting now." One of the other workers, a quiet busser named Malik, raised a hand. "Can we ask something?" "Go ahead. Are you gonna stay? Like, keep working shifts?" Landon paused. "Not every day. I've got other stores to take care of. But I'll be here for the next few days at least. And I'll be hiring a new manager. Someone who earns your trust." Malik nodded. "Good." They got through dinner together. The orders came in waves, but the team moved better now. Landon noticed Joel stepping in to help with dishes without being asked. Casey kept the register flowing smoothly. Even Malik started chatting with customers when he cleared tables. At closing time, Landon gathered them near the back sink. "You all did good today," he said. "Better than good." No one spoke, but their eyes stayed on him. "I'm not gonna pretend I understand everything you've dealt with here, but I saw enough to know it's not acceptable. That ends now. Tomorrow we're meeting before open. I want your input. What's broken? What needs fixing? And what's been ignored?" He looked at each of them. "You've been holding this place together without support. That changes. Starting now." Joel stepped forward. "Can we ask for fans? Or at least ice water? You'll have both by tomorrow morning. And working AC. I'll pay for the technician myself." Joel nodded once. "All right, then I'll be here." Landon let them go one by one. He stayed behind to mop the floor and wipe down the fryers. When he finally turned off the lights and stepped into the cool night air, the parking lot was empty except for his car. He opened the driver's door and sat down slowly. He didn't feel triumphant. He felt responsible. He pulled out his phone and sent a message to his assistant. "Schedule me at Store 6 next week. And find out how long it's been since I visited Store 8. He stared out at the dark windows of the restaurant. If this was happening here, it could be happening anywhere. By the time Landon returned the next morning, the sun hadn't cleared the rooftops yet. The parking lot was still mostly empty, except for a single car and a maintenance van. A technician stood on a stepladder, wiring a new ceiling fan above the rear delivery entrance. Inside, the air already felt different. Cooler, not comfortable yet, but more breathable. The quick install fans he'd ordered had arrived overnight, and the maintenance team was halfway through getting them up. A fresh jug of water sat on the counter near the prep station, with a stack of clean cups next to it. Landon walked through the back hall toward the kitchen, where Joel and Malik were already wiping down surfaces and setting up the line. Neither of them said anything immediately, but there was a different energy in how they moved, less bracing, more deliberate. "You get any sleep?" Landon asked, untying his apron. Barely, Joel said, sliding a fresh tray of patties into the fridge. Kids teething. But I got here early. I wanted to make sure no one changed their mind overnight. No one's changing anything without talking to me first. Malik glanced over from the dry storage. Casey's in the freezer. She came in around 6. Said she made a supplies checklist. Landon nodded and stepped into the walk-in. Casey was crouched beside a stack of lettuce boxes, cross-checking labels against a clipboard. "You always come in this early?" he asked. She stood up quickly. "Only if I'm scheduled to open. But I figured if I'm handling inventory now, I should know what's coming in and what's low." He folded his arms. "You think we're missing anything critical? Napkins, medium cups, and we're low on burger wraps. And the fryer oil hasn't been rotated in at least 4 days. You're sure?" She turned the clipboard toward him. "I marked the last delivery dates. There's no record of an oil change since last Friday." "Good work," he said. "We'll fix it today." As they prepped for opening, Landon moved through the store not observing, but working. He wiped down tables with Malik, helped Joel refill the soda machine, and reviewed the fry timers with Casey. He didn't ask how people were feeling. He paid attention to how they moved, how frequently they checked the clock, how they spoke with each other. At 7:50, he called them all to the front counter. 6 employees, including 2 he hadn't met yet, a tall, quiet man named Hector and a petite woman with a blunt haircut who introduced herself as Naomi. She wore a faded crew shirt with a tear near the hem. "I want to start with what we're doing right," Landon said. "If something's working, I don't want to mess with it. So speak up." Casey was the first. "The team's tight. We cover for each other even when it sucks. No one walks out even when they probably should." Joel added, "We know the flow. We don't need someone telling us how to hit the lunch window. We just need time and people to do it." Naomi hesitated. "The regulars, they come in even when it's a mess. Because they like us. They don't like the food as much as they like seeing familiar faces." That struck Landon harder than he expected. He nodded. "All right, now tell me what's broken." Hector finally spoke up. "Schedules are all over the place. I've closed 5 nights straight, then had to open on Saturday. I asked for 1 Sunday off. Got told I was replaceable." Naomi looked at her shoes. "I wear this shirt 3 times a week. I asked for a new one last month. Tasha said I'd get one after my 90-day review. That was 4 months ago." Casey said, "We haven't had a team lead meeting in forever. Tasha would cancel them or say there was nothing to discuss. But then she'd change procedures without telling anyone." Malik added softly, "She told me not to talk to customers. Said it wasn't part of my role." Landon's jaw tightened. "Why?" He shrugged. "Said I wasn't presentable." Landon turned to the others. "Did she ever say anything like that to anyone else?" Casey glanced over. "She told me once not to wear my natural hair out. Said it looked messy on register." Joel looked up, face hard. "She told Hector he should shave his beard if he wanted to look like management material. That was enough." Landon didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "If any of you ever experience that again from anyone, you come to me. I don't care if it's a manager, a district lead, or someone in corporate. You tell me. That kind of behavior doesn't just violate company policy. It violates human decency." No one said anything, but the air shifted. It wasn't relief, it was something deeper. A cautious belief that maybe, just maybe, things wouldn't go back to the way they were. The door buzzer rang. First customer of the day. Landon stepped aside. "Let's open." The morning moved quickly. With the fans running and the AC finally functioning again, the kitchen didn't feel like a furnace. Orders came in steady, and the team moved with a rhythm that didn't need direction. Landon watched how Joel handled rushes efficient, but never impatient. Hector didn't talk much, but he kept the grill spotless between orders. Naomi was sharp with drive-through timing, and Malik, given space, started greeting guests with a quiet confidence. At 11:30, Landon stepped into the office to take a call from HR. He gave them instructions to process Tasha's termination paperwork and requested an audit of all 8 locations' internal complaints. He didn't want this to happen again, not in Store 6, not in Store 8, not anywhere. When he came back out, Casey caught him by the drink station. "You should know," she said, lowering her voice. "Aaron stopped by this morning. He talked to the delivery guy out back. Didn't come inside." "Aaron? District manager." Landon narrowed his eyes. "Did he say anything?" "Just asked if anyone was acting weird lately. Delivery guy said we looked happy." Aaron left without coming in. Landon knew exactly what that meant. Aaron had gotten wind of what happened, and he was hedging, trying to gather intel without exposing himself. He stepped outside and dialed Aaron's number. "You're not scheduled to be at Store 5 today," Landon said when he picked up. Aaron sounded caught. "I was just checking in. Heard there was an incident yesterday. You've been telling me this store was fine for months, that the turnover was normal, that complaints were exaggerated." There was a pause. "I didn't know it was that bad." "You did. You just didn't care. I didn't think it was worth escalating. Tasha always hit her numbers." Landon's voice stayed even. "You're done." "What?" "You're terminated. Effective immediately. I'll have HR contact you. Don't go near any of my stores." "You're overreacting." Landon ended the call. He stood there for a moment watching the cars pull in and out of the lot. Then he walked back inside. The team didn't ask where he'd gone. They didn't need to. By mid-afternoon, Landon pulled Joel aside. "I want to offer you the GM position," he said. "You're already doing half the job." Joel looked stunned. I've never managed a store." "You've managed people. You've earned their respect. That's the hard part. The rest I can train you on." Joel opened his mouth, then closed it. "Let me talk to my wife. I just want to make sure I can handle the hours." "Talk to her," Landon said. "But know this, if you take it, we're doing things differently. No more burnout. No more silence. You'll have support." Joel nodded slowly. "All right, I'll call you tonight." Landon turned back to the kitchen. Casey and Naomi were restocking sauces. Malik was ringing up customers. Hector was wiping down the grill, humming something under his breath. There was still a lot to fix. Schedules to rebalance. Pay to review. Uniforms to replace. But the rot had been cut out. The team was moving forward together. And Landon wasn't watching from a distance anymore. The following morning, Landon pulled into the store's lot just after sunrise. The sky was still soft with color, and the streets were quiet. He parked in the same spot as before, but this time he didn't hesitate before stepping out. He was back in jeans and a clean polo, no apron today, not because he was done working, but because it was time to shift gears. Inside, the kitchen lights were already on, and the low hum of prep work had begun. Casey stood near the dry rack, clipboard in hand, organizing the condiment bins with a quiet focus. Naomi passed behind her with a stack of new uniforms, folding them neatly and setting them on the break room table. Malik was replacing the floor mats near the back sink, his pace steady, headphones in. Joel wasn't in the kitchen. Landon found him in the office, leaning over the schedule board, a pen behind one ear, phone cradled to his shoulder. "I can do Thursday and Saturday," Joel said, "but I need Sunday off. I've got my kid's appointment that morning." He caught sight of Landon and nodded once, finishing the call. "That was Hector," Joel said, turning back to the board. "He's good to cover late shifts this week. Said he's fine closing as long as we rotate next week." Good, Landon said, stepping in. How's the morning going? Joel tapped the board with the pen. Better now that I've got a clean view of everyone's actual availability. I kept the schedule flat, no one's pulling more than 5 days, and I built in a coverage rotation. Landon studied the board. You think we'll hold up through the weekend with this? We'll be tight but manageable. I cut the non-essentials from the closing list so we're not keeping people late for polish work that can wait until morning. Landon nodded. Smart. Joel pulled out a second folder. I also started tracking customer flow. If we can prove the pickup window's busier than the app shows, we might qualify for another register during peak. I'll have corporate look at the numbers, Landon said. Joel hesitated, then added, I also called Nina last night. She's still recovering. Doctor told her to take the week off. Landon leaned against the doorframe. Did she say anything? She thought she'd get written up for passing out. Said that's what happened last time she got dizzy. Landon let that hang in the air a moment. Then he said, I'm covering her pay this week, and I'll be offering her a part-time admin spot at HQ if she wants something off the floor. Joel nodded once. She'll appreciate that. The door opened behind them. Malik poked his head in. Front fryer's acting up. Says the oil's too hot, but it's just been changed. Landon turned to Joel. You want me to look? I've got it, Joel said. I'll call the tech if it's acting out again. He followed Malik out. Landon stayed behind, glancing around the office. It was cleaner now. Desk cleared, papers filed, no clutter. The mini fridge was gone. In its place, a standard cooler with shared drinks for the team. He grabbed the clipboard from the wall, the new daily log, and flipped through it. Employee notes, customer feedback, prep issues, all logged in clear handwriting. Casey had been filling it every shift like clockwork. No complaints, just facts and follow-ups. Landon stepped out of the office and into the dining room. It was still empty, but the first early customers would arrive soon. He walked over to Naomi, who was wiping down the front windows. How's the new uniform feel? He asked. She glanced down at the fresh polo. Fits better. Doesn't feel like I'm wearing someone else's old shirt. You need more. We're good for now. Casey's got sizes logged. Landon nodded. You still okay running register? I like it, she said simply. But I wouldn't mind learning drive-through. I've never handled the headset. I'll ask Joel to get you on it next week. She hesitated, then said, I didn't think anyone would care if I wanted to try something new. You show up early, do your job, and keep things running. That matters. You've earned the chance. She gave a small nod and went back to cleaning. By mid-morning, the store was alive with the usual rhythm. Orders sliding across the screens, chimes from the fryer, the buzz of conversations at the front counter. But it wasn't frantic. No snapping, no rushed movements, no one hiding in the office. Landon stayed out of the way but present. He stood near the drink station watching interactions not as a test, but as a temperature check. When a customer complained about a missing sauce, Casey apologized without deflecting and handed them a fresh tray. When a delivery came 15 minutes early, Hector calmly adjusted the prep line to make space. Naomi handled a payment issue without calling for backup. It wasn't perfect, the fryer did glitch again, and the ice machine sputtered halfway through the lunch rush, but no one panicked. Joel pulled a backup fryer online without leaving his post. Malik swept the spill near the drink station before anyone asked. At 2 o'clock, when the rush finally thinned, Landon gathered the team in the back for a final check-in. They stood near the prep sink, cooling down with cups of water, hands still smelling faintly of onion and sanitizer. I'm leaving the store in Joel's hands, Landon said. He's your new GM. You'll start seeing some structural changes in the next few weeks, better equipment tracking, updated training, and clearer reporting lines. No one interrupted. I'm not promising this place becomes perfect overnight, but the culture that's changing. You don't have to wait for someone to burn out to speak up. And if someone makes you feel unsafe, unheard, or disrespected, we respond. Immediately, he looked around the room. You've been holding this place together with grit and patience. You deserve more than that. You deserve a team that respects each other. Joel stepped forward. Starting next week, we're breaking into 2 lead roles, kitchen and front. Casey's taking front, Hector's got kitchen. You've earned it. Casey's eyebrows lifted. Really? You've been running the front unofficially for weeks, Joel said. Now it's official. Hector gave a small nod. Appreciate it. Landon turned to Malik. You've been steady every shift. I want to get you cross-trained on prep. You interested? Malik looked uncertain. I've never done line work. You'll learn. You've got the right attitude. Malik gave a quiet, okay. Landon clapped his hands once. All right, that's enough standing around. Let's clean up the midday mess and get ready for the close. They broke apart, moving back to their stations with a little more assurance in their steps. Landon stepped outside, letting the door swing shut behind him. The air was warmer now, sun high, the lot half full. He paused beside his car and looked back at the store, the same building, same walls, same signage. But inside, everything had changed. Not because of a new policy or a corporate memo, but because people were finally being heard. And because silence, the kind that let neglect fester, had been broken. He got into the car and pulled out slowly, merging into traffic. There were still other stores to check, other teams to meet. But Store 5 was no longer on fire. It was building again. The right way this time.